This is a mini series from Horizon Industry specifically. We are part of the internal recruitment team here. My name is Lucas. I am the recruiter that recruits on our government contracts, the cleared roles, and many other different things. I'm also here with my colleague.
Oh, hi, I'm Manga and Lucas. I'm a senior recruiter here at Horizon. I work a lot on the Appian wing of Horizon.
All right. And what we're going to be presenting today is, again, about using AI as your personal job coach. And if you've ever hit the submit button on 100 job applications and heard nothing, you're definitely not alone. So today we're going to be flipping the script and we're going to walk you through how to use AI tools like ChatGPT to turn your job search from chaos into clarity.
This is such a
Now,
perfect topic over the summer, people get to redo their resumes. I think this is coming in at the perfect times. We have a bunch of new people joining the workforce soon. I think this is such a great topic.
oh, absolutely. I would say if you're not using AI at all for your job search, you're not doing it as good as you can. That's for sure. So
I
we'll kind of
agree.
dive into the first segment here. We do have 3 parts. Now let's start with the biggest question most job seekers don't ask out loud. Am I actually a fit for this job, or am I just guessing? That's where AI comes in. So tools like ChatGPT, TealHQ, Jobscan, they compare your resume to a job description in seconds. So you can actually try this, try pasting both of these into ChatGPT and ask, compare this resume to the job. Where are the gaps? What would I need to improve? Now, what you're actually pasting, you're taking your exact resume. You can take your personally identifiable information out of there, like your name, your address, those types of things. You can take those out of your resume, plug that into ChatGPT, ask it, compare my resume to the job description, then take the job description that you're actually applying for and paste that in there with it. And then it should actually outline everything to you to show you if you are a good fit, what you're lacking, what you would need to improve, maybe the hard requirements that you don't meet, which would likely land you in the rejected pile almost immediately, unfortunately. Now, you'll get back a quick, honest breakdown of all those types of things, like the missing keywords, unclear experience, weak matches. You know, just to kind of give you a story, I've actually worked with a developer in the past, and what we realized during the interview process is, you know, she met all the requirements. She used all the right tools on a day-to-day basis in her current job, but she didn't list those tools on her actual resume. So that made the hiring managers kind of look over the resume and think, well, it doesn't seem like they meet all the qualifications. So that's what we're doing here. We're making sure that everything that you actually should have in your resume is there before you ever apply.
Well, I think
Now,
this is such a great idea. Just, even if you're not looking for a job, just to upskill yourself, it's a great way to understand what's out there, if you're planning your jump in maybe a year or even two, what skills are you lacking? What skills do you need to upskill yourself? I think this is a great way to find out.
yeah, exactly. And I think for people who aren't fluent in AI yet, or they haven't
Mhm.
really taken that jump into utilizing some of these tools, this can be kind of that first step, whether you're, a recent college grad or, you've been a long-term worker who's just not really been given that AI access yet, or you haven't needed it, but now you're back on the job market. So this is kind of a great first step to start becoming a little bit more fluent in AI, because I think the way the world is shifting, it's going to be one of those very necessary tools.
I agree.
So
I agree. Do you think, AI can kind of help me with like prepping for the interview? Because I think that's what I feel a lot of people need help with, because some of them not interviewed in like since their first job, some of them working for in that particular job for 7 years. So they've not been interviewing for 7 years. Suddenly they find themselves nervous, trying to, sit in front of, completely new people, strangers, new environment, and then talk to them. Do you think AI can help with that?
Oh God, yes. And I am one of those types of people who does get very nervous. I could prep and prep, and sometimes you just get that word vomit where you're not exactly sure what to say. Maybe they ask a question that kind of throws you off, or you didn't prepare as much as you probably should have, which happens most of the time, I would say. Especially as us recruiters, we're interviewing people constantly, so we see this all the time. Now, I could kind of go into how this will help with your interview prep. So let's say you've got the interview. Now what? Here's where AI becomes your personal coach. So you can actually drop a prompt into ChatGPT. You could say, ask as a hiring manager, based on this job description, what questions might you ask me for this role? You can literally plug that straight into ChatGPT, and then you'll get a list of likely questions tailored to the job description itself. So you're putting the job description of where you're applying to right there. That way, it's going to go directly through it. It's going to say, they're probably going to ask questions around what makes you a good fit for this position. What types of projects have you worked previously that would correlate to this role that you're now applying for. And the cool thing is when you have your resume already uploaded into there, it will actually parse answers out directly from your resume. So it'll say, for example, a hiring manager asks you, what makes you feel like you're a good fit for this position? The AI will actually write in the answers for you based on your actual resume information, which is pretty cool because then you don't have to do all the mental work of trying to figure out how do I phrase it. I know I'm a good fit, but I don't know how to uh, quickly convey that. It will take the guesswork out of it for you. It'll pull the best information from your actual resume, and you can practice and kind of use this as an actual interview guide, if that makes sense.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Um,
and you can always kind of rewrite things in your voice too, which hopefully your resume has been kind of written in your voice. But a lot of times, if you're using AI to help you write your resume, to help you stand out, you're going to want to take the time to make sure it's in your words because it's going to come across much more authentic when you are speaking to a hiring manager or a recruiter, anything like that. So it doesn't sound like you are just reading off a script because we do experience that as a lot during our interviews as recruiters, and that's one of those things we do kind of look for. Did this person truly prepare, or are they reading off of something?
right, right, right. We still want them to be themselves, just be, of course, everybody's using AI, but we still want to see the authentic you, right?
Yeah, exactly. We want to know who are we hiring? Who is the person,
Right,
not just the AI that wrote the person's resume, right?
right, correct. All right.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I feel like one of the hardest questions that comes up during, most interviews, and I feel like people are completely unprepared for that particular question is when we ask, tell me something about yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I I personally used to hate that question. I'm not much to talk about myself, and
Yeah.
then you get in these conversations where that's the entire conversation is telling about yourself, and you want to create a cool story about your professional experience, right? So that's something another thing that you're going to be using AI for. So you can go back to ChatGPT or whatever AI that you're most comfortable using, and you can kind of craft your own pitch. You plug in your resume. You say, "Can you create the best pitch for me as if I am pitching myself to a company who has asked me, tell
Mhm.
me about yourself." Let AI do the hard thinking for you. Now, again, whatever that response is, you're going to want to take that and craft it into your own words so you don't sound robotic or like you haven't truly prepared or that someone else wrote this for you. It's taking from your actual resume, so it should be things you can speak fluently too. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. Yeah, it is where you are really asking about yourself. So yeah, that should be the real you that we want to know.
Yeah,
What do you
exactly.
think?
I
Do you think
mean,
people should include their personal details? I feel like a lot of the times the candidates get into who they are as people. Like, oh, I love fishing, I do this, I love baking, or I do tap dancing. So they get into their experience like that. Do you feel like people should reveal a little bit about their personal side as well?
I think starting out with the professional pitch
Hmm.
first and kind of then switching it, maybe listen to see if they ask, well, what do you like to do outside of work? Because a lot of people do ask that. I personally, as a recruiter, I ask that many times because I want to know what this person kind of looks like outside of work. I want to understand a little bit about them and their personality, right? And
Right.
I think that's a good way to kind of identify that. But if they don't ask, you can always kind of lead with the professional answer and then tell them, and some of the things that I do outside of work are X, and make sure, and again, you can use AI to kind of help curate this message. What are my three strongest value points based on my personal life that can relate to this job? Because if it doesn't relate at all, then you might lose the person who's interviewing you.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would definitely suggest building a really strong 60-second pitch around these things. Use AI to do this. Again, all you have to do is prompt it directly. Just say, what are my three strongest value points based on this resume and this job description? Then build a 60-second pitch around those. And, you really want to make sure that you digest all of that, you understand all of that, and you can convey that concisely back to an interviewer.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so that kind of wraps up the first part of this mini series on using AI as your personal job coach. Now, we will be flipping the script a little bit on the next episode, where instead of prepping to impress the company, we're going to also take the steps in interviewing them with AI as your guide as well, because it's not always just about you know the companies interviewing you. You should also be taking the step to make sure, is this company that I'm interviewing with the right company for me as well? Because that's going to be very valuable as well. And I think that oftentimes really shows that you've done your research and that you are very interested and a capable person. That tends to make candidates stand out when they ask these types of questions. So we'll be doing that on the second part of this mini series.
I love it. That's going to be an interesting topic for us to record. I can't wait for it.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you join the next series.